All right, welcome to another edition of Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Devil. Obviously, as you can see, my co-host Angel is not here tonight. She's on assignment in Vegas for us, doing some Golden Knights work that you'll see next week. Want to welcome everybody in again tonight. We're here from our home away from home in Arizona. We call it the Ice Den Chandler. I was thankful for them for having us in. It's going to be a great show tonight. It's a special show. We're doing our summer hockey camp with the day after Memorial Day being the official, unofficial start of summer. We're going to talk about hockey camps. We've got some great guests coming up. Larry Gibson with USA Hockey and the Pacific region, specifically on development of goaltenders, and some great stuff happening there. We also got Lindsay Ellis coming in from the Arizona State women's program. We've got Chad Berman coming up from Tucson as the head coach of the University of Arizona Wildcats. And we're also going to close things out tonight with Danny Roy from the Grand Canyon University Lopes. So without any further ado, we'll jump right in and get started. We'll be right back with our special guest, Larry Gibson.
The Ice Den Scottsdale has always been the coolest place in the desert. Now with the addition of the Ice Den Chandler, our 2 locations hosting 5 sheets of ice make the Ice Den your home for youth, travel, and adult hockey leagues. Our nationally recognized Learn to Skate programs offer world-class instruction for skaters of all ages. Our pro shop features equipment and apparel with the top hockey and figure skating brands. 18 Degrees Express with the Chili Bean Cafe make the Ice Den the perfect place to host your next birthday party or special event. Visit us online at coyotesice.com.
All right, and we're back with our hockey talk with Angel and the Ice Devil. As you can see, my co-host Angel is not here, but we do have Larry Gibson, the Arizona goaltender development coordinator for USA Hockey.
Perfect, that's me. Thank you.
I got it.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, Larry, it's nice to have you on the show. First of all, I know that you do an awful lot of work with hockey in the Desert Southwest and have for years. I know when I talked with Coach Powers and I told him you were coming on the show, he goes, it's awesome. He was my first goaltender coach at ASU.
Yeah, he's a terrific kid. I really enjoyed working with him. And
he'll be happy to know that you called him a kid, too. I'm just telling you that.
Compared to me, though, but the success he's had with his program and how far he's taken that program has really been really exciting to see where it's come from. And thank you also for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about your involvement in hockey and how things got started for you and how long you've been doing this and how you got involved with USA Hockey and specifically goaltending.
Well, thank you, Scott. It was, I've been around a while. I've been involved with the coaching program now for about 27 years. Coaching education programs, basically we educate coaches to level 1s, 2, and 3 levels, and we have a level 4 coming here from the Rocky Mountain District later in August. So I've been doing it a while there, and then of course goaltending's kind of come under my umbrella, and I've enjoyed working with ASU, as I said, you may have said too, with in the 90s with Greg Powers and Adam Mims and Ross Steinberg. That got me my goaltending experience, and then we wound up here with the goalie development program. And it's a really exciting initiative that I'm excited to tell you about here today.
Right. So you just came back from Seattle area, right?
I did, yes.
And that was specifically for goalie development with USA Hockey, correct?
Yes, exactly. And that was in Seattle. We did basically, it's the Pacific District, and basically we developed their program there. We brought the national program, including Phyllis Ayer was there, the National Goaltending ADM Director. Also Kevin Reeder was there. He's the National Development, NDTP, so the National Development Training program there. They were at the program. We met with about 30 different goalies and their parents also. It's really important that we include the parents in this because that's a very large part of their development. As a culture, we're trying to create that goalie culture where goalies are hockey players too. Ultimately, we're hockey players at the end of the day. We're just goalies. We just choose to play goal. So we're trying to actually get those coaches and associations to want to work with these goalies and give them the time that they deserve. We did that in Seattle with those coaches mentioned. We had 30 families, and they worked on off-ice stuff. They worked on over the off-season stuff. They learned about how to become scouted and what to do as far as scouts and, in fact, agents and such too. So that was in Seattle. It was 3 days. Kids had 2 ice sessions a day, and it was, I think, it was a really exciting program for them. There's a lot of positive feedback, and the families really enjoyed it.
Well, at every level of hockey, the coaches will always tell you at every level that goaltenders are the number one key, because if you don't stop the puck, it's awful hard to beat anybody, right?
That's exactly. Now, when I do my coaches clinics, one of the questions I ask my coaches right away is, how important are goaltenders?
Right.
And they'll say, everyone to a man in the room will say, or woman will say, it's probably one of the most important positions on the team.
Right.
That being said, I asked them, how many of you guys spend time with your goaltenders? Very few hands will go up, right? And
Right.
because for several reasons, either they think that they're not required, they're not qualified enough to work with the goalies. That's
Sure.
a big one. They don't want to mess up what they're learning at local camps here.
Right.
So they kind of, by default, they kind of ignore the goaltenders, and that's a big thing with development. They don't get their development in practices. It's not a once a month thing. It's
Right.
not even really a once a week thing. You can't design practices around goaltenders solely, but it comes to a point where you have to spend some time and some investment in time with those goalies to help them improve and get better.
Talk a little bit about what you've seen in changes with goaltenders. I know when you look at the NHL level right now, a lot of goaltenders are out there playing the puck, right?
Oh, yeah.
At every level, people try to mimic the NHL, so
Sure.
I'm guessing you're seeing a lot of that. But
Yeah.
what have you seen from goaltenders, say, 15, 20 years ago that's changed now?
In terms of the puck handling, it's been really neat to see goaltenders playing the puck more and more. And I'm a big advocate of the kids moving the puck.
Right.
Some of our coaches are afraid of that because they see the kind of mistakes that are made by the upper level goalies in the National League, St. Cyr, in the college level. There's mistakes made at every level, but we don't want to discourage the kids from handling the puck because they'll never learn to handle the puck. And when they get to that next stage in their development, like college, juniors, if coaches can't see that a goalie can't handle the puck, they're all things being equal, they might pass on that kid. So being able to handle the puck's a huge asset for any kid that's trying to get to the next level. As far as other developments within
Right.
the game, the equipment's a big thing nowadays.
Right.
They're making the equipment smaller, and in my personal opinion, I think others too, it makes the goalies are getting better. That's why they're doing this to the position. They're making the equipment smaller. They're giving them rules with that trapezoid behind the net.
Right.
I think it's just because goalies are achieving. I think they're doing well, and I think that they've got to find some way to produce offense. And in my opinion, I think goalies are perfecting the game with all the coaches that are now available around the country. It's growing, and there are more and more concerns with developing goalies.
So when we talk about goalies, obviously we have now a very growing women's side of it, and I know you're tied into that a little bit closer than a lot of
Yes.
people. So
By
tell us a little
family.
bit about your connection to that.
Thank you. Well, my daughter played, of course, youth hockey as a goaltender. She played up through the Division III level. She's now contributing. She's contributed to the Lady Coyotes goalies for a couple of years, and then she's now very nicely contributing to Lindsay Ellis's program with the women's ASU program. So that's an exciting thing for her too. I think there's going to be a lot more interest with girls playing hockey and playing netted specifically.
So ASU's got a girls team right now, women's team I should
Yes.
say.
Mhm.
Grand Canyon added a women's team.
Thankfully
so
out
we're
of
now
Peoria.
starting to see some more teams going. So I'm guessing that means an influx of girls at the youth level as well.
Yes, I'm the director in Peoria also at AZ Ice, and we have a lot of girls come enjoy the program. Girls can play hockey too, for crying out loud. They enjoy it. The kids love it. It doesn't matter whether they're boys or girls. It's youth hockey, and it's great for those goalies to be able to play at high levels. And there's a great opportunity for these girls too, as far as getting educations at the D3 level and D1 level. It really affords a lot of these opportunities for girls to not only achieve the best part of their game that they can get to, but also to be able to contribute to scholarships and at least a good education, not scholarships.
Absolutely. We had ASU's goaltender Jordan Nash Bolden on last week.
Yes.
And when we kept looking at her, she's dripping wet, maybe 50 pounds, I
Little
swear.
bitty thing, yeah, but
and
a lot
she's
of
about
power.
5'4".
Yeah.
And I asked her a question specifically. I said, what's it like to take that slap shot from her own teammate, Casey McGinley?
Yeah.
I said, what's that like? Is there any fear there? And she said, no, not really. She's used to it. So is that what you're seeing with girls in general starting out? Is there any fear getting in the goalie pads and getting in net, or are they excited to do it?
I think just about any kid is going to be, there's stages of being a goalie. It's fun.
Right.
You get to wear the pads, and then you go, wow, it hurts. Yeah. There's some pressure,
Right.
winning and losing, and stuff like that. So it's a process becoming a goalie. And as far as pain goes, I remember her at district camp. She made it out of Arizona. She made it to the district camp. She's a little bitty thing, like you said, and the coaches there were like, like, how did this girl get to this level?
Right.
You know, she's small, and at the time she's probably a little bit shy of the puck, but by the end of the camp, she performed so well, and she'll remember this and tell you she performed so well at that level, and the coaches were so impressed by her, despite her diminutive stature.
Right.
She's got a big heart, and I got to watch her play this last season.
Yep.
And it's fun to watch her. She's technical, and she battles well, and she's fearless now.
She was out at the goalie day that Behind the Mask had, and that's where we started getting some new pads,
Sure.
and we were talking a little bit about that. But tell us a little bit. We talked about equipment getting smaller, but it's also getting lighter, isn't it? So the goaltenders now can move a little quicker.
Well, they'll tell you that too. When the pads went from 12 inches down to 11, they're like, well, we like the way those pads feel. They're better anyways. The equipment's getting lighter. The goalies can move faster in it. You know, apart from things like taking the stick out of their hand, I don't know what else they could do to make it harder for goalies to do it. Yet the goalies still excel. Back in the day when this started changing, I used to think that one day we'll just wind up giving the goalies a blindfold and a cigarette. Perhaps that might be the best way to take the advantage out of them.
So specifically, when I talked to the reps from CCM, Bauer, Bryans, and Vaughn when they came out here, they were all excited to be out here in the Desert Southwest because they thought they got a really good response. So is that what you're seeing from the Pacific area, Pacific District that you were involved with, that there are a lot of good goaltenders coming out of this area?
Well, yes. In fact, we're the Rocky Mountain District, and we're with other states like Nevada, Colorado, Texas, and Oklahoma, and New Mexico. And what our through the district associations, we try to send these kids to the national level, but in the state, we try to identify those kids who are proficient at it, and then give them some organization in which to move on to the next level. As far as the goaltenders themselves, I kind of lost my train of thought here. Thank you.
So if we're not, let's throw you this question. As you look at a goaltender getting started out and somebody that wants to play goalie, when do you encourage them to start being specific as a goaltender?
That's a terrific question. I know USA Hockey's thoughts on that, and I share that with them. Around 11 or 12 maybe. You don't want goalies specifically specifying in goal until they're around that age. The reason being, you want them to understand the game a little bit more.
Right.
You want them to develop their skating skills a little bit more. So the overall thing is, let's try about 11 or 12 before we're specific, and we just put them in that net forever. My daughter will tell you that she wishes that she'd skate a little bit longer too, but she went in and around might age, and that wasn't so cool for her. She thought she should have stayed out a little bit. With reference to the Rocky Mountain District, the Rocky Mountain District part of it, our battle cry is 51 and 30.
Okay.
And that's what I want to get to before I run out of time. And 51 and 30 basically is we want 51% of the goalies in the National Hockey League and the National Women's Hockey League to be in the leagues, to be in those leagues. Right. And we're not looking for American backups. Right. 51 means 51% of the minutes played in the NHL will be by American-born men and women at that level. So that's basically our battle cry as far as that goes. That's what we want to try to achieve.
So since we cover the Desert Southwest, Vegas is obviously a market for us as well. So tell me what you've seen with Vegas in the last year and a half since they announced that they're getting an NHL franchise. Have you seen an influx of youth hockey there? Or?
It's what I've heard, yes, from my friends in the Pacific District. They're getting a lot of interest there. It's not unlike what we had back in the day when there were only the Los Angeles Kings, before it was cool, before Gretzky. The southern states, the Southern Belt really up, just really exploded as far as growth, and everyone knows, like in the Dallas area, they went from 1 or 2 rinks to a dozen or so of those. So I expect that to happen with Nevada also, in Las Vegas, that their youth hockey programs are going to grow exponentially as much as ours did here in Arizona.
So people are crazy over the Golden Knights, and the Coyotes have had their struggles, as we all know, for a little. So how important is stability with the Coyotes to the youth program, specifically goaltending? I mean, you got guys like Mike Smith and people like that, but that stability at the NHL level is important too, isn't it?
I think very much so. I mean, we don't have a kid in our program that doesn't watch the Coyotes and doesn't want to be a Coyote, and the goalies especially, the goalies that want to be Mike Smith and the other goalies in the NHL. It's really a place to look up and see role models, and and players you want to emulate.
Yep.
I was a big Roadrunner fan back in the day. I'm pretty much a Arizona native,
Right.
and fell in love with those Roadrunners, and that was my role model to look up and see those guys and see that's what I want to be. So
Right.
I think to a great degree, it's really going to be a good thing for their program in Vegas as it's been with us here.
Well, Larry, we appreciate you taking the time to come on out. We're going to be in touch with you several more times during the season. So, as we know, we do a weekly show here with Hockey Talk at the Angel and the Ice Devil. This is our summer camp special, and what better person to bring on but Larry Gibson to talk about goaltending development.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate your having me here and your interest in our programming. Thank you.
Yep. All right, hockey fans, it's another great episode of Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Devil, and want to make a special thank you tonight to our friends from OxyPow for being a sponsor of our show. Their newest Silky Grip hockey stick wax, newest on the market, so check it out at oxypow.com. Also, if you're not familiar, you need to try this stuff out. It's the greatest, and they call it OxyPow odor spray, but I mean, it's incredible. It gets rid of the funk in anything, hockey gear or anything at all. Also have on hand the Silky Pow hand soap, which is awesome as well, and another odor spray that we have with some great flavors and some great concept to eliminate odors. If you're a hockey parent, you're a hockey player, you know that hockey odors are pretty stagnant around the area. So try out OxyPow at oxypow.com. All right, and we're back with Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Devil. Once again, I'm going to remind people that Angel is on assignment for us up in Vegas, so we're doing the summer hockey camp special with our next guest. Very familiar to people here in the Desert Southwest, Lindsay Ellis, the coach of the Arizona State women's hockey team. Lindsay, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me again.
We talked an awful lot during the season about your program and the struggles that you had to go through to get a program off the ground, and I'm guessing you feel a lot better right now than you did this time last year.
Definitely. I mean, it's a whole different ball game now. It's not our first year anymore, and the girls know what to expect now. So
tell me, we got prospect camp that we've already had one. We got another one coming up. So tell everybody when that's coming up and how they can get involved with coming out to an Arizona State prospect camp.
Yeah, so our prospect camp is open to all high school and collegiate age girls. That is July 29th and 30th at Oceanside Ice Arena. And then the girls can register for that on our website, and that's www.asuwomenshockey.com.
So when you bring in prospects, you're not only looking for players to help you out immediately, but you're also looking for players for the future, right, as you grow the program.
Yes, definitely. We've already starting our recruiting classes for 2 and 3 years down the road now already, so the prospect camp is one of our biggest recruiting tools.
So as a coach going out on the prospect camp ice surface, what are you looking for specifically in future Sun Devils?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, skill level obviously is the first thing that comes to mind when coaches, but the next thing obviously is character. Girls, it's hard to build a program from scratch, so we're looking for girls that have that passion and drive, that have the same vision as us, that want to build that program with us. So that's really one of the biggest things that we look for.
And as we always talk in the Desert Southwest, weather is a nice recruiting tool.
Yes.
Arizona State's a great university, so that's a great place to recruit people to too. So what have you seen out there from what other prospects as you've been out doing your recruiting? What have they been saying about Arizona State and specifically playing hockey here?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. When you're talking to Canadian girls or Minnesota girls, it's, wow, I'm going to have a warm winter.
Right.
That's one of the first things that comes to mind for them. So it's definitely a unique aspect, but, we really want to bring in the fact that, we are going to be a championship program, and that's what we're building for. So we really want to focus on that positive aspect of hockey.
And last year, of course, everybody knows by now that you had to play a lot of road games just because you were new and had to find games. And this year, things are turning the corner a little bit. A lot more home games on the schedule I've already seen. And I think the opportunity that you guys had to host the regional was kind of a nice kickoff to let people know what level of hockey is actually being played, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're very excited to have home games
Right.
this year when we didn't really have any last year, but especially having, playoffs here last year was, a chance for Valley people to see, how good some of these girls are that play. And
Right.
They don't usually get to see that, so it was cool to have that and host it.
So what are you seeing from the youth level now, since your program's a year old and there's a direction with it? Mm-hmm. What are you seeing from the youth level? Are girls starting to talk about, hey, I want to be a Sun Devil when they're 12, 13, 14 years old?
Yeah, I wear some of my gear out and about, and I have people approach me and say, you know, my daughter wants to be a Sun Devil one day, so it's really cool to see that. And you know, we are hosting a youth camp this summer, and we
Right.
have you know, Canadians and Americans alike all signed up for this. Some girls already signing up to fly in that are, you know, 10 through 14 years old already. So, you know, that's something that's so cool to see for us, and we realize how big this program can get.
So have you noticed other programs, established programs from out east, up north, Canada, are they starting to notice that they have another competitor now and with ASU, that there could be somebody else looking to take their kid?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, especially playing in all these arenas around the country this year even, you know, we had a lot of parents come talk to us coaches about our program and what could possibly happen with their daughter and coming to Arizona. So it's definitely a thought in people's minds, and we want to keep growing that thought. So
Talk a little bit about your coaches. I don't give them enough credit, and I know you do, but I think they deserve a lot of credit too for being out there and helping you out. So tell us a little bit about your staff.
yeah, so you know, there's a lot of time that goes into growing a program and keeping it going. So you know, I appreciate everything that all of us do and that they all continue to do. So you know, we're growing our staff this year actually as well. So it'll be, you know, a little growing year again with
Right.
us. So
Well, that's always a challenge too, though, right? Because a lot of your work is, let's face it, it's volunteer work, right?
Yep.
So in order to grow something, it takes a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Dedication, I guess. So when you're looking for coaches in that aspect, how do you recruit a coach?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely you know, vision again.
Yeah.
You know, people have to believe that you know, we're gonna win a national championship someday, and that's what we want the same things that the girls want to view as well. So we're definitely looking for that, and dedication's huge. I mean, there's a lot of time out there that goes unnoticed by a lot of people, and you know, that's what dedication is huge for our program.
So ACHA women's hockey is growing just like ACHA men's hockey is going, but I know you get a lot of help and a lot of advice from Coach Powers and the NCAA program. So give me a little insight into his involvement with you and what he's done to help you grow the women's program.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely supports us 100%. His wife as well actually helps us with our travel and things. So the Powers family has, you know, helped us tremendously get this program off the ground, and they do continue to support us and help us with anything we need. And then Josh and Tate, the other ACHA coaches at ASU, also help me as well. So, you know, they're so supportive.
So you now have an in-state rivalry coming on board this year, and I know you're very familiar with their
Yep.
coach, Natalie Rossi,
Yep.
but Grand Canyon's adding a program. So, yeah. What's your expectations on that? Is this going to be a rivalry? Is this going to be... I asked your goaltender last week when she was on. I said, she goes, well, it's not really a rivalry yet because we haven't played.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, in and of itself, it will be, you know, sort of a rivalry just because, you know, we are the only two women's programs in this part of the nation. So, you know, it will be a rivalry in that sense, but I do agree with Jordan in the sense that, you know, we got to play and get that compete level there before that rivalry's formed. So
Exciting, though, for hockey fans and women's hockey fans to be able to see some pretty good level college hockey out of the women's side.
yeah, it's definitely exciting, and, you know, I'm excited for the Arizona hockey community to see more of it. So.
You and I have talked several times about this, and I always go back, and I want to give you a little more time to think about it, but I always say, do you ever think you were going to see a women's program not only at ASU, but at Grand Canyon, of all places?
No.
And growing the way it is down here in the desert Southwest?
No, I mean, I never, you know, 3 years ago, this was like not even a blip on the radar, and now it's, you know, 2 full-fledged college programs. So, you know, the only way it can go from here is up.
So what are you seeing from the youth level? Are you seeing more youth level teams now too, or is it kind of just the same teams with more girls, or what are you seeing?
It's mostly the same teams with more girls.
Right.
Hopefully we can get some more all-girls teams eventually, but I am seeing a lot more girls at the youth level. So that's very exciting, and, you know, the fact that they can keep up with the boys is really cool.
Talk a little bit about the schedule that you guys have coming up this fall. What do you have with the home games? But tell us a little about what's going on with ASU hockey.
Yeah, so like I said, we have a lot more home games, and we're hosting, you know, our breast cancer awareness night again. We're
Right.
hosting a military appreciation
Saw the
night
jerseys,
this year.
look awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun night as well. And you know, we are going to Ohio this year to play Miami University and Ohio State. So You know, Miami's the defending national champion, so for them to be able to play the best is, you know, going to be a true test for all of us. So.
And last year, a lot of the girls told me that the trips, while they were difficult to go on, were really a great bonding experience and got a chance for them to get to know each other better and bond as a team. So I'm guessing that's something that's important to you as well.
Definitely. I mean, especially, you know, going through that as well. As a player myself, those away trips are huge bonding trips, you know, and it just helps everyone.
So for those that don't know, that you guys play your home games at Oceanside, and let's talk a little bit about the practice experience. I always say this all the time. You guys are really the most dedicated hockey players there are, because you guys are up and practicing before a lot of people are even awake. So tell us how that goes. What's your typical week?
Yeah, so we practice on the ice Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. So, you know, we're up and at it real early at the rink. You know, a lot of the girls are getting there about 6:30 a.m. So, you know, they're very dedicated, and they get there before class and just go straight to class from practice. And then during the week, we also have off-ice practice as well, and that's huge for the girls' game is off-ice strength and conditioning. So, you know, that's a typical week. Last season, our typical week was traveling, leaving on Thursday. You know, this year is going to be a little different with, you know, team dinners and home game preparation that we didn't have last year. So. And
if people don't know the dedication from the practice schedule, when you guys played your regional tournament here, you played a lot of games with some girls that were out with injuries. You had a limited roster. So tell me what's that. You and I have talked about this before, but tell everybody again what that's like to have a limited roster and playing a very tough schedule of games.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, but, you know, they have so much passion and drive, and I think that showed. You know, when it got to the end of the playoffs, we had 8 skaters on the bench because of concussions, and one girl had broken a vertebrae, and you know we had so many season-ending injuries that they just couldn't play. So, but it just showed how much passion and drive they actually do have to get out there and compete at that level. So
obviously this year you're going to have a lot more than 8, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So what do you anticipate your roster level being at when you start the season this year?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have a lot more numbers and depth this year than we did last year, so that's really exciting. And, you know, we have our captain returning, we have our leading goal scorer returning, so that's all very exciting for us to continue to keep building on that.
Well, Lindsay, I appreciate your time and coming on board with us today for our summer hockey camp special. So once again, give them one more shot if they want to come out to your youth camp or your prospect camp. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can go on our website at www.asuvomenshockey.com and register for both of those camps online.
Awesome. Thanks again for your time, Lindsay, and we'll be in touch with you during the summer, and obviously during the season we'll be out there.
Thank you.
Crime can happen to anyone at any time. Be a role model for the next generation. Become empowered. This is true life insurance.
All right, we're back with Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Devil. As you can see, Angel's still missing. We got her lost somewhere up in Vegas doing some stuff for us with the Golden Knights. So we're going solo tonight. Starting off this segment of our summer hockey camp special with a very familiar face, Danny Roy with Grand Canyon University Hockey. Danny's going to talk a little bit about the women's program and the men's program today, since you're the director of hockey for the whole group. So welcome back to the show, Danny.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Let's talk first off about the women's side. Tell me a little bit about how that program's been going and building up, and we talk camps. Let's talk about the development of a women's program from scratch.
It's it's been a lot of fun working on. I think I said a few times. As soon as I came on with GCU, I mentioned to Dan Nichols, our director, that this was something I wanted to do.
Right.
He definitely asked me to not bite off too much in the first year, but it was still something that I kept my focus on and made sure that it was still a plan to go ahead with it starting this year. But you know, everything's fallen into place, meeting my expectations. You know, we got a great coach with Natalie.
Right.
Natalie Rossi's just been she's been unbelievable. She's hitting the recruiting very hard.
Right.
Picking up. We both kind of battle with which recruits we brought into the program. But no, she's done an amazing job. It's obvious that a lot of coaches around, not just around the area, but around the rest of the states around us and stuff, respect her and are willing to send her players, which helps a ton. And then things like scheduling. I mean, we're at a 22 game schedule in our first season.
Oh,
for
how good
women's
is
hockey,
that? How good is that?
And we only had 3 major trips. Colorado, which isn't too bad, and we'll go to Illinois and Minnesota.
Right.
And that's it. Other than that, it's a lot of home games, which is great for a first year.
That's the way you got to build the program, is with home games, so you get a little fan support. And I know at GCU that's a big thing, right?
Yeah. I think they'll have a good fan following. I mean, there's a lot of support for us, and you could just see that just based on what we had at our camp that we had, and she had a lot of girls there, and I could see us having close to 20 or so girls again, maybe even more. I think that the girls camp this summer is going to have more girls than on our guys' side.
Really?
And that's a lot to do with just like all the junior showcases and things
Sure.
like that
Yep.
that take away a lot of the guys during the summer. But yeah, no, she got a lot of interest from that last camp, and a lot of those girls went home and told their friends.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be fun to see.
So, in all fairness, I did invite Natalie, but she's out with her family in New Jersey, so she's not going to be back in time to do the show for us. But she told me that she was going to bone up on things with you, make sure that you had everything that she wanted to get across. So, I'm going to put you on the spot a few times tonight. Let's go back to the men's side of it. Tell me a little bit about your men's program and your prospect camps and what you're looking for. You and I talked off camera about what you're expecting from your returning players to be done over the summer months.
Yeah, all the returners and all of our incoming recruits got a workout schedule that was put together by our strength and conditioning coach. I checked in on a lot of the guys, and they seem to be putting in the work, and all their logs are filled out, scribbled on, scratched out, all that stuff. So you could tell guys are taking it seriously, especially some of the guys that we've kind of had meetings with at the end of the year and said, hey, we want to see this, maybe get in better shape, but I think you're going to be a good player. And that just got them even more excited about the upcoming season. But the guys are doing that. I obviously encourage all of our returners who are in town to come out to camp.
Yep.
Just to get extra ice, but also to be out there with potential future players, skating around, getting to meet guys. That way the incoming players or our prospective players get to meet who was on the team or see who was on the team, whether they're a first liner, third liner, fourth liner, and they get to kind of compare themselves to where they are. But that goes for the 15-year-old players as well.
So as a head coach and a director of hockey, tell me a little bit about the development part of it. You have so many different stages, right? You got guys that are at a certain level when they come to you that are probably ready to play. You got guys that are in the middle. We talked a little bit about the guys that are maybe in the D3 development part of it. But you're also looking longer picture, right? You're longer down the road, I should say, at prospective players, high school players and stuff. So what are you doing at GCU to involve them?
I think I said it on our last show. I encourage anybody to go to a prospect camp wherever it is.
Right.
That's the whole point of prospect camps. It's not like you have to be invited to go to. It's not a main camp kind of situation. It's an opportunity to kind of explore your options. And there's a lot of kids in the state who don't know that they can play at a college level, whether it's in-state or out of state. There's Division III, there's 2 and 1, and there's a lot of kids who aren't educated on that. And our camp is it's to find potential players for the future, but it's also to help out those kids who just don't have a clue that there is that ability to go to school, get a degree, and still play some level of hockey. So we try to educate the guys on whether it's are you going straight to college and that's your route, or it's I might want to try and play juniors somewhere, and we try to steer them in the right direction of who to talk to. I have a few contacts in the NA3 and WSHL and stuff that have expressed, if I have players that we'd like to send to them and develop and get them ready for a couple years. And we're starting to work those relationships as well. So yeah, it's I'm confident in not just my coaching ability, but the rest of the staff that I surrounded myself with. We're very confident in our abilities to develop a player wherever they are coming in, and at least try to better them.
Right. So when I think about this, myself growing up in Minnesota, this was hockey was a lifeblood basically. You were born into it, you played it, you skated it, and what I've seen in the last 3 years in Arizona and the Desert Southwest altogether is it's grown exponentially. I mean, you guys have done a great job of recruiting players and developing programs, and the competitiveness that you guys have right now, it's starting to be noticed around the country, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's we have the OSHA Premier team that I help coach with. That Tate Green is the director of, and he runs that program. When I came and joined with him a couple years ago, they had a hard time competing at tournaments, and I mean, he even told me stories of when he first came into that program and where they were at, and now they're going to tournaments and winning tournaments, and then they're playing teams in the state that would have never played them, and that shows the growth of even just the high school level of hockey,
Right.
So it's like I said, that every kid in the state has the ability to play some level of college hockey. It's just a matter of them, getting the information on how to go about it after.
So I think the next obvious question is, with the influx of players and the growth and larger numbers of players, is there enough ice right now for you to accommodate that? That's kind of taboo. We don't want to talk about too much ice stuff.
I taught. Look, knowing what high school gets, there's definitely not. They struggled because of they're right there behind all the travel programs. You get the ice, and you got adult hockey, you got house hockey, you got public session, things like that. So there's definitely it's constrained quite a bit here in the valley, but I could definitely see one or two new facilities popping up here in the next few years.
Which is great to see, because with more ice becomes more players, and with more players becomes better players, correct?
Yep.
It all kind of feeds itself.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your prospect camp, when the next one is, and how people can get in touch with you to be out for it.
Yeah, so we're June 23rd, 24th, 25th out at AZ Ice Peoria. It's 6 hours of ice. The price comes with it. You get a camp jersey, t-shirt. We'll have an admissions rep out there to answer any questions for students, parents. We'll do a little meeting, kind of talking about the process of enrolling or getting ready to go to school or after high school hockey. And then we set up campus tours and things like that. But you just go to GCUHockeyCamps.com for both the men's and women's.
Yeah, so I was going to say both the men's and women's are the same weekend again, right?
Same weekend. They're back-to-back sessions, it makes it super simple.
Right.
So we're out there the whole time. And then June 1st is the last day of the early registration fee. After that, it goes up to $200, but even $200 for that much.
For that much ice time and instruction is.
And we try to run it. We'll do the first day is just kind of a warm-up practice type stuff. And it's all based on numbers, but we try to do a lot of small area competition. We'll try to do some scrimmages, just a way to see everybody in every aspect of the game. Because a lot of players look different in practice than they do look in a game situation.
Yeah, right.
And that gives us a little more feedback for when we do our one-on-one interviews with the players.
So you kind of answered my next question, but tell me a little bit about what you're looking for specifically as a coach when you're going through a prospect camp?
A bunch of stuff. I mean, it depends, on things like that we would need specifically for based off of the last season.
Right.
I like to, I obviously like to look and see what a player's hockey sense is, and that's where
there you go.
get that in game situation type stuff. You don't get that in the drills and stuff.
Right.
You kind of want to see what a player's energy is. Do they, they enjoy being out there? Are they getting along with the guys, and all of a sudden making relationships where that you could see them fitting into your culture. But really, it's more of seeing a player and being able to see that we could definitely accommodate them.
So after you've done one of these like last year and you look, are what you're seeing out of the players in the prospect camp really the way they are when they get to the ice during season time, or does something change there for some players?
It's about half and half, I say.
Okay.
A lot of guys, the way their personalities are, probably stay about the same. They're
Right.
If a player's goofy, loud, and energized
Right.
out in a skate like that, they're going to be like that for most of the season. Some players, probably go a little harder in that situation, treating it like a tryout, and then they start backing down and getting comfortable as the season goes. And some of those players, you have to kind of remind them where they
Right.
are and what could potentially be coming in the following year. But usually we're pretty close to spot on when we look at a player.
And you and I were talking about the program itself. You're going to be having a D3 team and a D2 team, so players are competing and trying to earn spots on both teams at this point, right?
Yep. Yeah, we had players that I've already shifted over from last year's team.
Right.
There's players that I shifted over from last year's team that I've told that, hey, it's never a guarantee that we're going to have a full roster on Team 1 going into September. Anything could happen. A player could just all of a sudden not show up or get hurt, or anything could happen. So, I encourage them to continue to work, but the message to them was this: it was whether you're on Team 1, Team 2, it's not a demotion, it's not a promotion, it's you're playing college hockey, you got GCU on your jersey, and the goal of both programs is to go win a national title,
Right.
Regardless. So we're treating each team the same. We're giving them the same treatment as far as coaching, practice, stuff like that. And the expectation is still the same. It's take it seriously and make your team better.
Well, Danny, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming up for our summer camp special, and we got all the information. We will have all the information online too for how to get in touch with you as far as prospects, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the ice this fall. And as the saying goes, paint the valley purple and paint the valley ice purple.
Paint the ice purple.
There we go. Thanks, Danny. We'll be right back with our next special guest on our Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Devil Summer Camp Special. All right, and we're back with Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Devil. As you can see, Angel is on assignment for us up in Vegas. And this is not Angel. This is the University of Arizona head coach, Chad Berman, who made the trip up from Tucson for us tonight for our summer hockey camp special. So, Chad, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always nice to have you on board. We talk hockey all during the hockey season.
That's
but
right.
Now we're going to be able to talk a little bit about summer hockey and development. So, first of all, tell us what you got going on. You got a couple of camps going on.
Yeah. We're having a camp in Peoria at the AZ. It was the AZ Ice in Peoria.
AZ Ice, yep.
June 23rd to the 25th. It's a college prep development camp. It's the first year we're doing it, but I'm really excited about it. We're also going to do one in East Lansing, Michigan, at the end of July. You can find any of the information on that on our website, ArizonaWildcatHockey.org. And you can email in there and sign up. It's $250. Basically, what it provides you is 6 hours of ice time. You get an Arizona Wildcat t-shirt, Arizona Wildcat practice jersey. We're going to do a brief seminar, hour seminar on how to contact college coaches, and also an instructional demo on some things to do with off-ice training. I wouldn't say it's, when I'm putting together this camp, I'm thinking, how can I make our camp different than the rest? I've been to 100 camps myself, and so two things stood out to me is, I'm not looking to condition guys for 2 days and say, hey, we're in great shape now. It's not realistic, but what I can do is provide the tools to say, often I hear kids say, boy, I can't afford a gym membership. Okay, so what?
Yep.
There's 1,000 things you can do with a piece of tape, a curb, anything you want to do. So we're going to go over some of those things, but to me, it's not about what you do, but how you do it.
Right.
So we want to go through the details of that. And secondly, the seminar we're going to put together on how to contact college coaches. I've been shocked since I've been a head coach at how unprepared kids have approached me.
Right.
And I don't judge people on it,
Yep.
but I see it as an opportunity to say, boy, I could really educate some kids here to further their opportunities, whether it be with me, Grand Canyon, ASU, Denver, wherever you want to go. I want to help, be a part of growing hockey and giving kids better opportunities. And it's a lot of different details. If you're going to provide, hey, come check out my film, provide the link. Make it as easy as possible. I think a lot of kids don't understand that we're very busy in a day, and we get hundreds of kids who contact us. Yeah. So if it's too much work, you're giving me a lot of reasons to maybe avoid it. The other thing is sometimes we'll have too much information,
right?
And I'll see it and I'll just be intimidated. Like, I don't have time for all this. You want to get your point across, but you want to be direct into what you can provide. So we're going to provide detailed information on how to go about that. Don't swear on the phone, all that good stuff. But you'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't. But
but above all that, the camp's about feedback from a college coach. I want to provide feedback on how to take your game to the next level. I'm a big proponent of the details. If you're talking, boy, I want to make it to the NHL, that sounds great.
Right.
But your focus should be on the next step you need in your development. And certainly some things that I wish I would have learned when I was going through the process. But the best way I could use a metaphor or an explanation to kind of explain my camp, I'm a guitar player.
Right.
Often people will come to me and say, I wish I could play guitar. Will you give me guitar lessons? And every time I say, I won't give you guitar lessons, but what I will do is I'll teach you how to teach yourself.
Right. And
so the premise of our camp is to walk through the details so that you could take the tools from our camp, apply it to your day-to-day preparation so you could take the next step in whatever it is you want to accomplish.
So two things that I'm sure people are going like, U of A in Phoenix, and let's tell us a little bit about U of A in Michigan, but you're tied to Michigan, and that's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity for you to go back and reach some of those kids that where you grew up.
Yep.
And then the opportunity to reach a lot of people up here. And right now with the ice availability that you don't have in Tucson, and hopefully that's changing for you, it's an opportunity for you to get on the ice with some kids in the other part of the state as well, right?
Yeah, no question. There's a lot of benefits being here and in Michigan. I'm from Michigan, so I have a lot of contacts there. Part of my goal is to expand the word of mouth of our program. I think we have a special program. I'm actually impressed with Arizona in general. I love to see the growth that we're doing here. Just look in the state of Arizona. I'm coming from Chicago, where I was coaching before.
Right.
There's things going on here you can't say in Chicago. Think about that.
Yeah.
You have a D1 hockey team here. You have an AHL team here. We've got GCU, ASU, U of A, all these hockey programs that are providing a great opportunity to get a great education. And that's really cool. So I want to be a part of that growth. Unselfishly, I want to provide that platform and opportunity. So what separates our program and why I think it's important that we get out to other places is we are by far the only team in the state of Arizona who you can say you want to come play in front of 5,000 fans and come play for us.
Right.
We can provide you an experience you just can't get anywhere else. We're one of the best business programs in the country. Again, we play in front of 4,000 or 5,000 fans against ASU, and weaving in and out of palm trees every day, dodging blondes to class isn't a bad thing.
Can't argue with that a bit.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your recruiting process right now and what goes on in the summer months for you. We know what happens during the season. We know the work that you put in then, but the work doesn't stop, does it?
Oh, no, it's 24 hours a day. I mean, there's no such thing as an off day. There's no such thing as time off. And you know, for anybody who wants to get into coaching, understand that before you get into it, because if it's not something you have to do, my advice to you is don't do it. I have a passion for this. I love providing feedback, mentorship to kids, hopefully making them more prepared for their next step in life. I enjoy that part of it. You know, it's about people management. It's not about X's and O's. And so you really have to embrace that, and I enjoy it. So, you know, yeah, we're thick in the recruiting process. You know, recruiting's year round. Of course,
Right.
It speeds up now because now you're thinking, okay, we got some spots we want to fill and people we want to fill, and you know, we're heavily competing with D3 programs, NCAA programs, and you know, the common theme is that more and more kids are realizing I can get a better education, get a bigger school experience at a place with better weather, at a place like the University of Arizona, than I can out east. I think the facade of the NCAA sticker is worn off a bit because people are understanding the ACHA provides an equal competition field and a better education, better college experience in general, and so you're starting to see kids come this way, and that's, you know, that's really ultimately the goal here. So we're thick in the middle of recruiting. I feel confident this is going to be the best recruiting class we've ever had. It means nothing until we put in the work and,
Right.
and it pays off. But you know, we got a couple of good kids early in Justin Plumeth and Josh Larson. We think we got an absolute stud in Anthony Chiro in net. Obviously, you need a top goaltender if you're going to be successful late in the season. And to back that up, Nolan Bivolchek is going to be a heck of a goaltender for us. We think we have 3 kids who are capable of being number ones. That's going to create competition, which is always our goal with our team. And you know, talking about the day-to-day process, when you have that kind of competition in practice, you're getting the most out of kids every day. It's sink or swim time, right? So we're excited about that, and then, you know, on the way here, we just landed a really good player in Anthony Cusinelli, plays in New Jersey in the North American Hockey League. He should be an immediate impact kid. Fits a power forward need, a top line need, a left-handed shot in our power play. We could be more excited about that. And so, you know, we keep plugging away, and then we also added Max Mayer from the Yellowstone Quake.
Right.
Very smart, very high hockey IQ out of this kid, hard worker. You know, we're really channeling in the right kids first, and then obviously talent matters. But there's a specific kind of kid that we want in our program, and if you don't hate losing, I don't really want you in my locker room.
Right. And we saw that last year on the ice. I mean, you guys, I call you guys probably the most emotional team that I've seen. You guys play a lot on emotions, don't you?
Well, I mean, you got to have a passion to play this game. It's a you know, it's a grind. There's a lot of ups and downs. You're going to go through it every year. I mean, we had 10 injuries at one time last year. We were playing UNLV with 2 defensemen.
Right.
You're going to go through things that nobody's going to feel sorry for you. How do you get through it? So if you don't have a passion to go to the rink every day, this isn't it for you. It's a time commitment. You got to be able to balance your studies, your social life, and put in the work to play hockey. But in the end, when you're playing in front of 4,000 or 5,000 people, when you have a chance at winning a conference title, when you have a chance at winning a national championship, those are the things you'll never forget.
2 things that come to mind for me. First of all, the growth of ACHA hockey down here. I mean, now you got UNLV jumping into D1, so you got a little closer opponent. You got Grand Canyon working that way for hopefully next year.
Yep.
So now this becomes a little bit more of something you've been hoping for a long time. Is more of
Yeah.
a bus league, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not traveling around the country on a plane somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. It's important. I'm excited for Dan there at GCU, and we hope we get to, hopefully there's an announcement of them joining the ACHA Division I level. We want more teams in this region. You know, we're all a part of the same thing here. We're trying to grow hockey, so we want more teams, more opportunities out west. We want to have a more divisional, I should say more regional division, so that we are doing bus trips, then we're having a playoff. We're able to do things that, you know, some of the other conferences can experience, and I think that's only going to make things bigger and better as you add the bigger schools, the Pac-12 schools, stuff like that. That's a win-win for everybody, including the ACHA in general.
So let's ask you, hockey camp specific, as a coach and director of a hockey camp, what are you looking at out of players? What do you want to see them do at the end of the camp? And you have your notebook full of notes. What do you want to see from somebody that's a prospective Wildcat?
Well, obviously you want maximum effort. That's a must. But for me, when I'm evaluating a kid, I think a lot of coaches get in the trouble of having a pigeonhole of what they expect of a hockey player. I don't need 30 goal scorers. I don't need 30 grinders. I want to see what the best version of you is. You know, and I want to maximize that. And ideally, if your top end of your game is here, the bottom end of your game is down here, then my job is to say we need to make sure that if you're a forechecker, then dang it, you've got to be excellent and be the best kid on the ice at forechecking. And the bottom end of your game, my job is to lift that up. Then what you're doing is, if you're here and here, and your average game is here, now if you lift that bottom end up, your average game's up here, and we're talking about a more consistent hockey player who's going to be a better asset to his team no matter who he plays for. And so ultimately, my objective is maximize your strengths, eliminate your weaknesses, be consistent, bring an honest effort, be a great teammate. You know, those things matter over time, and we want to instill that into the culture of what we're building and the kids in our camp. And every time we talk about our program, we're spreading the message of our culture, and that's what it's about.
And that's one of the things that we saw with your program last year, specifically with the Hogan brothers that came in and came into the program late, hadn't played in a little while, and developed into some pretty good ACHA D1 players, didn't they? Yeah,
I was shocked Toppy wasn't named first team All-American. He was second team All-American. That's no knock to anybody on the first team or Toppy by any means. When you consider the schedule we play, he was third in the country in scoring, and some of the obstacles he had, it's really remarkable what he did, especially from one year to the next. He's a great testament to a kid he was the easiest kid I've ever had to coach. He's so committed to the details and so driven to being better than he was yesterday. That's just easy to work with. That stuff rubs off on the rest of your roster, and moving forward, that's going to affect our team. Even as him gone next year, it's going to affect our team next year. So, but it goes beyond that. I mean, we're going to miss Sean Osment, a kid who was a tremendous shot blocker, a kid who did a lot of work. Alex O'Day, unfortunately, had some health concerns. He couldn't finish the way we'd hoped, but he was a great talent for us. You know, Wilkinson, Garrett Patrick. You know, it's a great list of kids. We're excited that they get to move on and do bigger things in their lives, and hopefully, you know, as we say with our credo, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat.
Well, a couple things that I saw this year, and we'll kind of finish it up with it, but I always noticed Toppy was out on the ice in his tennis shoes before a game, shooting pucks. He was always out there. I mean, it was like not just one game, it was every game, which shows a lot of dedication, I think.
Yeah, well, it shows, I mean, you've got kids who are trying to fight to get in the lineup, and if you're not in the lineup every day, then you need to do more. You're going to fall behind. So when your best players are your hardest workers, there's no greater tool for your program. Because you see, when these guys are saying, I want to be third in the country in scoring, I want to put up 30 goals in a season, that's not easy to do. That takes a lot.
Not at any level.
Not at any level. And so when these kids on our roster are able to watch a kid like Toppy putting the time in before, after, I saw him at spin classes in the rec center. You know, I saw him doing extra work, going out for extra runs, getting up early. He was always on time. He exemplifies everything you want in a program, and you hope that rubs off.
And I talked to him, a month ago maybe when we were down there, and he hinted at the fact that he'd like to come back and help out a little bit if he's got time this year. Yeah,
he can do whatever he wants. He's welcome anytime and under any capacity. His brother John as well. You know, and really for our alumni in general, we want to bring back our alumni. We want to instill that once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat philosophy. It takes a village to raise a program, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna, you know, we all need to come together and make this happen. But I'm looking for the day when we do win a national championship and we can celebrate with all those people, because it's gonna make that family feel that much more special.
So you got 2 great camps coming up. Anything else new and exciting with the program that people can look forward to this fall? Anything different or new yet?
Yeah, I mean, geez, worth announcing yet? I'm not sure. I'd say there's some exciting things in the fold here. We're going to do some things differently. I think our capacity to grow is much bigger. I think we're going to have a really fast, exciting, fun team. You know, the fact that ASU and us are going to be really good teams moving forward, I think that's great for hockey and out here, because those games are like nothing else. To have that Calder Cup, the Cactus Cup every year, to be that competitive, that's a cool thing. Being able to play the GCUs, the UNLVs, I think that we got a special thing in general out here for hockey, and certainly I'm competitive, so we intend to do what it takes to put ourselves above them, and that's a tough task. They're all good programs, but we're up for it.
Awesome, Chad. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you driving up tonight to visit with us, and make sure they check out your camp schedule, because it's a pretty awesome deal. And if you live in Michigan and you're watching this, make sure you get up to Michigan too.
In today's odor elimination, sanitizing, and deodorizing market, air spaces and fabrics are treated with very aggressive, highly toxic, and often very dangerous but cheap chemical-based solutions. These chemicals have harmful residues and pollutants that can impact your health and the well-being of those around you. This is the bad news. The good news is there's something better. That something is OxyPal. OxyPal is a fast-growing company based in Phoenix, Arizona, with franchises opening across North America. OxyPal has developed a way to eliminate, not mask or disguise, all organic-based odors in any airspace or on any fabric surface with ozone, also called trioxygen. Ozone is present in the atmosphere, and it is what protects our planet, our environment, and every living thing on Earth. Through years of research and development, OxyPal has perfected a way to harness and apply this powerful solution to purify air spaces and fabric surfaces safely and effectively, eliminating all organic bacteria, viruses, mold, fungi, and allergens on the molecular level. OxyPal has designed and perfected many next-generation and evolutionary alternative products and services safe for people, pets, and our planet. The solutions offered by OxyPal are stronger, safer, non-toxic, and a great value. Visit our website and online store today at www.oxypal.com. On our website, you can make a service appointment, buy products, or learn more about us and our great franchising opportunities.
Hi, and welcome back to Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Devil. Final segment. We'll wrap things up. As you can see, my co-host Angel is not here. We have her out on assignment in Vegas for us this week. She'll be back next week with us. I want to thank all of our special guests tonight on our summer hockey camp special. Mr. Larry Gibson with USA Hockey and specifically goalie development out here in the Desert Southwest. Also want to thank Chad Berman, the head hockey coach from the University of Arizona, for making the trek up from Tucson. Never fail that whenever I call on Danny Roy from the Grand Canyon University, he always steps up for us and gave us some insight into the prospect camps over at Grand Canyon on both the men's and women's side. Also want to thank Lindsay Ellis, who came out tonight from Arizona State women's program and gave us a little insight into her prospect camp and also the youth camp she's got going on. So, well, it's summer, and officially we kicked off summer after Memorial Day. I do want to tell you that it's a great opportunity for you to get your kids on the ice and get them some development. So when next fall rolls around, they're prepared as anywhere, and all the great camps are available right on our website at IcetimeHockeySW.com. And again, we'll be back next week with our special Father's Day edition. Got some great guests coming up for you. One I can throw at you is we've got a Clark Cup champion and his father, a former Boston College and goaltender, in Jeff and Johnny Walker as our special guests, along with a couple of the secrets that we'll tell you about with our Father's Day special next week live from our home away from home right here at the Chandler Ice Den. So for now, it's Hockey Talk with Angel and the Ice Table, and that's a wrap.